All right, Mr. Smith back in the garage. We got a lot going on today. This is Super Bowl Sunday, so I got Super Bowl running on Tubi. Tubi, I think, is free. I just had to put in my age, and that was it. So got some parts that came in. So we got these little donuts that go on this part. So I remember I broke that one when I was trying to put it on. So I'm going to put that on carefully. I've got an extra one just in case. Thought I had one piece that needed to go like right here as it went through. There's a little spot in there where a piece goes through. So I got to find that piece again, looking for pieces. So the other thing I got was, if you haven't been following the channel, this is Jack, the 81 Vanagon Westfalia. I got these at Harbor Freight, Hobo Freight, and I think that's going to work to be able to get me to be able to tighten this down. So we're going to try that, see if it works. That was the one thing, is I couldn't get that tie rod in. We're going to try that. I also need to, I know I need to make an adjustment here underneath this plate, this plastic little disc. There is a slot for where this spring fits, and I don't think I adjusted it to that one when I was doing the other side, I remember. So we're going to get the jack underneath there, lift it up, undo the shock, the Radflo shock, and drop this down just enough to be able to figure out where that should fit in, and then we'll put it back up, attach it back up. So it's just a cleanup spot. And then for the most part, we're going to get all of the front suspension in on this side, although I am still waiting for the rotor from Auto House AZ. That's the only piece I think I'm waiting for on that side, is the rotor. So we'll get that all in. Then I want to start working on cleaning up the engine bay here. These things, I think they're called nylon brushes. I'm going to try that first around here, because I think some of this has paint taken off where there's rust, but some of it is just dirt and black rubber, old rubber. So I'm going to clean all that up, clean the whole inside bay out. If I need to paint it in certain spots, I'll try and get paint that matches pretty closely to it. Then we'll be about ready to put some wiring in. We're going to redo a couple of these wires. I want to say this one was looking pretty bad. This one, we're going to redo these two connections. This goes to the starter. Let's see. And then there was, oh, yep, there was this one that goes to the alternator. That, boy, look at that. That really got chewed up. Probably from sitting. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do today. We're working during the Super Bowl. So I'll kind of recap you as we're going. If there's anything that's kind of special that I want to show you, we'll do. We'll probably go through a little series on how to install that shift linkage. But it should be pretty quick because I got everything together for it. And you've already seen me put in the front end on the other side, so I'll probably buzz through that pretty quickly. Now, these little plastic caps from Vanagon. Makes it look real nice there when you put those caps on that bolt. Looks finished, right? So we'll take those off when we paint, but yeah, so there you go. That's what we're gonna do today. Man, it's a beautiful day outside. Look at this beautiful day. You know, right in between the rainstorms and floods and the snowstorms that are now sweeping across the country. Super Bowl Sunday, out in the garage with Jack. Okay, so first thing I did was we got that bottom control arm in, 65 foot-pounds. I got the brake cable, new brake cable in. We're gonna put the upper A-arm in there next, and then we'll start working our way towards that spindle. All right, I'm at a good spot to show you where we're at here. So I've got the lower A-arm on, and it's torqued down. Upper A-arm, I did not torque it down, and you can actually see how it's moving there. The threads there, right here, when I push it up and down. It's not torqued down, and we'll torque it down once we get everything together, but we wanted it to be movable. We got the shock in there. You can see the nut on this side and the bolt on this side here, and it is not torqued down either because we needed some movement to make sure that we get it up through the right spot. We're moving it up with the jack on the lower A-arm. with the spring. And don't forget to put that rubber stopper mount in there, because that needs to go in. This is not torqued down either. So next step, we're going in. I thought this might be a good spot to clue you guys in on where I'm at, but I learned on the last side that to get this bushing in, to do it upright, and then we're going to push it down and bring it back underneath the A-arm. Here's our bushing, and you can see it's got a metal piece around here that's going to go through this side, and this metal sleeve is going to go in through it. And I greased that up a little bit, so it's going to go through like that. Oh, and yes, don't forget to put on these washers. Those help to not smash down the sleeve. So you can move that up, put that through, this on, and we're going to get the nut started. And that's the best way to do this one. Otherwise, you got to get that nut started. Otherwise, you won't be able to do anything. And with it started, we can at least move this thing around a little bit and get it up underneath. You can see right here, get this down and up underneath there, and that's what we want. And then this piece has got to go down through that hole. These are the bushings that do not have a sleeve. They just have washers and bushings. One bushing with the little piece down. Okay, and that will go there. And then this will go on the bottom once I'm ready to put it in there. And then we got to put our bolts through here. Remember, spring washer goes on the top. So in order to line this up and get these, see, you can see the holes right here. We gotta get these bolts through there. I might have to lower the jack just a little bit. Let's see if that gives me a little bit more alignment. We come down just a little bit. You can see how it's actually this A-arm's moving over a little bit. Okay, oh, there, we got the back one in. Okay, a little bit of hammering with this. Got these down in there, get this up. And so these are at least started, all three of them. And I'm watching the Super Bowl up there, so if you hear a little bit of that background noise, that's what's going on. So we're just going to get that started, and then we're going to start with the spindle. Got that in there already. This is where we had a hard time with the tie rod, which I still need to go over there and tighten that tie rod. Okay, so here's something I came across that I don't think I ever would have thought it would have happened, but may happen to some of you. So as I was tightening this, my drop link actually twisted and came off. Like the bushing came off. You know, they're fresh bushings and they're freshly greased, and so that might be why. But I'm trying to create an environment that I can put it back on without taking the whole stupid thing off. And so what I've done is I've got, you can see I've got a thing hooked into the back of the frame, and then it's clamped on here with this vice grip on the back here. I don't know if you can see that one. And then I put a welding vice grip here so that I could get this thing around the back of it, and until it hit the back of the drop or the sway bar, it didn't create enough pull to pull this back. So now I'm at the point of pulling it back. I'm hoping nothing pops off and hits me, but I think it's working. You see it kind of pushing it back on there. Let's see, did we get it on there all the way? Okay, let's take it off just a little bit, see if it popped through there. Almost. Again, man, this is just an interesting predicament that I'm in here. There we go. Get it over that lip. Okay, so when tightening this nut down here, make sure you're holding on to this so that it doesn't just tighten and twist right off, because that's what happened tonight. So let's work our way back out of here. See what I'm talking about? I had to kind of create it to get some leverage there, but now that's in. Okay, and now when I tighten this, I'm gonna put something on, like a wrench on here. That's 17, let's go with 19. A wrench on here to keep it from twisting when I'm twisting this one down here. That is really close. You know, I noticed over here that this bushing doesn't really close. I've got it in the right way, because if I put it with the rise of the sway bar up, it hits the steering column. So I know it's in the right way. It's just kind of tweaky. Okay, welcome back. Hey, watch the Super Bowl. And if you watch the Super Bowl, you know that the Eagles won. Fly, Eagles, fly. And so now we're moving on back to working on the Vanagon jack. I noticed that there's very little room right here between this spring in here. So I actually adjusted this so that this was out, which is probably good. The other thing I noticed, that when it was adjusted just kind of flat or back towards the back, the top of this bolt actually hit the back of the back here. There's not very much room in there. You can see that there's not much room here at all. There's a little carve out there for it, and that's about as bottomed out as it's going to be, unless, you know, we do some jumping or something. Hopefully that gave you a good view of that. I do need to get the tie rod hooked up here, and then I also need to tighten this down, get it tightened up, and actually pulled a little more forward, I think. So we'll do that, and then I need to torque down these bolts, and then probably torque down this one that, if you remember from earlier, we actually twisted off this. So I need to make sure I be careful about how we torque that down. Torque down the bolt and nuts for the shock absorber as well, so for the Radflo shocks. Sorry about the lighting, it is dark, it's night, it's Sunday night, Super Bowl Sunday. So let's get working on this a little bit more, and we'll be back. Okay, so I did the tie rod end on the other end over there, and I used this clamp system here. So you can see this is a welding clamp from Harbor Freight, and it just barely fits, the nut barely fits underneath there, and it's only a 22 foot-pound of torque, so I was able to get that all taken care of, and with that little tool. Okay, getting a little late in the evening here. I brought all the stuff back over and Ferdinand back in the garage. We just do that just to keep Ferdinand off the street at night. It's pretty dirty. I need to wash him. I haven't washed him since he got home from getting a new top. But I wanted to show you where, let's see. Oh, and we are waiting on a rotor still. So I didn't put on the rotor or the disc brake caliper. I'm going to show you what I was talking about, where underneath this disc, there's a spot where that spring kind of settles, and I want to get that spring in the right spot. And so what we've got this jacked up just a little bit. We're going to loosen this up on the bottom, take it out, drop the spring, find the spot where we move the spring around to, and then we'll put the jack back under, jack it back up, and tighten it back down. One thing that I will say about this Radflo shock is that these are not a standard size bolt on here. This is an 18 millimeter nut. Okay. And this is a 16 millimeter bolt. So kind of interesting. Sorry for that noise there. Some looseness there. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, so we'll see. And we don't want to lose these. In fact, I'm going to take them out, stick them on there, because I don't want to lose those. All right, so now what we're going to do is let this down. That's probably far enough. See how there's a groove here? And this is where the end, I don't know if you can even see that. Over on this side is where that shadow is where the end of the groove is. So we want to make sure that we get this groove right in there. And then put the disc back in. I did that on the other side when I was putting it together, but I forgot on this side to really kind of look at that. So jack it back up just to be able to get this shock in. I think that's about in the right spot. Just like that. Okay, if you're still there, we're looking at 65 foot-pounds of torque. Let's get this one on the other side. Make sure you can see what we're doing here. There we go. Just double check that. Now it is re-torqued in the right spot. And we can let that down and pull that jack out. So, all right, so we didn't really get to a couple of things that I wanted to. I wanted to get to working on the inside here, cleaning this up. I don't think it's going to be too hard, but it is just a time-consuming thing. Main reason I want to clean it up, get it painted, is because I want to be able to get the engine ready to go in. And so that's important. We got all these different tubes coming from, got all kinds of hoses and tubes. Let's see. Let's see if it'll stick right there. So we got our gas line here. This line here is the brake booster. This one's for a heater box. We've got the emergency brake line down there, but it's just not clipped in where it should be. Here's the wires I need to do some fixing on. And then here's the other wires that we're going to have to just make sure we get everything needs to be where it's supposed to be. So we'll probably work on that this week sometime in the evenings. I do appreciate you as my viewers, and so if you like the videos, just subscribe, like, throw a comment out there. I've loved the comments. I try to respond to every comment that's out, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching, Mr. Smith Garage. We'll talk to you next time.